Live here.
Live!
But we don't have to necessarily know what that means.
What's the someday of blank?
I don't
there's
know
a
that we
reason
want
this story happens now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the movie writes itself. Ooh.
I'm still streaming. How do I stop streaming? No!
Oh, here we are again.
Hello!
Wednesday, October 26th.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of Ben and Jake Write a Movie. This episode, aptly titled, Are We Ever Going to Get Out of Act 1? Because sometimes it feels like that. But again, I mean, like we were saying yesterday, this is the time when you've had your initial conversation, you've done your little scratch pad, and you're setting things up, and you're still setting things up, and still sometimes you're still having those conversations about going, oh, what is that? And I think we've been experiencing that quite a lot lately. But going, well, hang on a minute, what does that mean? What are they going to look like? All this kind of stuff, So it still is
the cracking of it all, right?
The cracking of it all.
So this is really the important work that you would be doing, whether you were putting together a pitch, whether you were if you're not an outliner and you went straight into scripting, you'd probably be stopping in the scene going, oh shit, did I forget to write a scene earlier that I might need to insert that there? And people have different processes, and that's okay.
I think as well, one of the things that I think we've been exploring as well is making sure that we're not falling into cliches. We were talking the other day about, what do demons look like? Well, what's the cliche way we've seen demons? We were talking the other day about what's the cliche way that you've seen someone who deals with addiction. Well, I've seen a million of those. I could quote you the rough dialogue that happens in all of those. I'm in an NA meeting, in an AA meeting, there's a coffee table to one side. Someone goes, oh man, where's this coffee come from? It's awful. Like, hey, well, at least the donuts are good. Someone arrives late. Sorry. Someone's got an attitude problem. I've seen it all. You have to try and find ways to mix it up,
It's very, very, very true.
So,
topic to talk about first today. And I don't think this one will require a full half hour, but I do think it's an important topic, and I don't think we've talked about it yet. Again, from the business side of things, general meetings.
General meetings, yes. Are we talking about annual general meetings, or just
what is an annual?
Oh, an annual general meeting is something that a company has or a business has. They have an annual general meeting where they discuss. No.
General meetings as a writer. This is. Tell us what a general meeting is, Jake.
So a general meeting is where you have a meeting with a producer or a studio executive, or could be a director, could be an actor. Where there is nothing specific that you're meeting to talk about.
Hence general.
And also it's an opportunity to form a relationship or to reestablish a relationship, to catch up with someone who you might have met 5 or 6 years ago and you want to, reconnect with. And they are the way that I think fundamentally that relationships are formed in this business by writers, because they're organized generally by your team, by a manager, an agent. I guess in theory a lawyer could set a meeting at some point. It hasn't happened for us, but in theory that could. Or you can set your own generals. You could literally. I know one young writer who literally calls up companies on her own because her agents aren't doing it for her, and says, "Hi, I'm so and so. I've written this thing. I'd really like to come and meet with you." And she said, and honestly, I amazing props to this person. I think she's incredible, because I would go, I would never have the courage to do that, Oh no, I would get suddenly very British about it. I could ask the producer for a general, but this person does. So anyway, it is possible. And to be clear, she is a professional writer and she is repped.
Yeah,
I would not recommend doing this if you are just still trying to quote unquote gain access to the industry. She's able to set those generals because she is a working writer, even though she's younger.
And anyway. I think that, so the purpose obviously is to get to know each other. I feel like what a lot of people going into screenwriting may not know is just how important relationships are, and also how important being likable is.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like a kind of like a
it's kind of an icky thing to say.
Kind of an icky thing to say, but
but it's true, because here's the thing. People like to work with people they like.
You know, I once remember reading a tweet years ago, and I really remember it. And it was by a working director who also screenwrites, kind of saying, I don't get why, you know, you have to be good in a room as a screenwriter. But it's because of those reasons that you say. People like to work with people you like.
Yeah.
You know? And I get that for a lot of maybe writer types, having meetings with people, face-to-face meetings with people might be difficult. Might be socially difficult. You may have to overcome something in order to do these things well.
Yeah. But it's important, because there's a few things, I think, if it's an initial general and not like a reconnect general, if it's an initial general, most likely the person has read your work, and so they at least think that you're a competent writer, which is great. So you don't need to prove yourself in terms of your writing ability. What they're wanting to know is, who are you?
Yeah.
And they're wanting to know, if we were to develop something together, will I enjoy that process? If I'm going to take you to a studio or to an actor or to a director and I'm going to vouch for you, am I going to be embarrassed?
Yeah. Totally.
These are questions that I feel like, because this is a relationship town and people rely on the word of others or people's opinions and things like that, while your writing is definitely a huge part of it,
of course,
it's not the only part.
Well, it comes back to our conversation a little bit yesterday about balancing art and commerce. This, interestingly, it falls into the kind of commerce side of it, falls into the business side of it. You can be a fantastic writer and really suck in the room. And now, if you are the most amazing writer, maybe you can get away with sucking in the room.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
I mean, look, if you write the next, Godfather,
totally.
And you're terrible in the room, you'll leave and they'll go, man, they're not someone that is great. Like, their work is so good. Maybe we can just kind of like keep them away from people as much as possible, and we'll still find a way to sell the script because it's so fucking amazing.
You should, of course, always be aiming to write things as well as possible. And that goes without question. Always. And also, this is going to be an enormous part of the business that you do on a regular basis. We just came out of a general just now.
Yes.
Someone who we've known for a long time and we haven't connected with for a little while. We sat down on Zoom with them and we had a general meeting. And generally, the first part of a general meeting is chit-chat about life. You know, if you don't know someone, every time we go into a general meeting with a producer whom we haven't met with before, the first question they always ask is, so, how did you guys start working together?
Yes.
I mean, it became, in the first, couple of years, became almost a joke. In fact, I used to start making up answers. Like, well, Ben ordered a mail-order Russian bride, and I turned up instead. Stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you've got a little bit of a laugh.
Yeah. Breaking the ice is always good. It's, and if you can find a way to insert humor into things, that's always good too, even if you're not a comedy writer.
Yes, even if you're not funny.
Just part of the way that we, communicate as human beings.
Yes.
And we want to just be human beings with each other. But there is another part to a general that, so the first half I would say is definitely like, are you someone I want to work with?
5 or 10 minutes is always going to be that.
And then the second part of the general is 9 times out of 10. So do you have anything else?
Yeah. What are you working on? Or
Well, I mean, the what are you working on is probably a segue into that. It's more like, so they want to hear like, ooh, are you still active? Is there still interest in you?
And the underlying tone is, can we do some business?
Yes.
Do you have an idea that we can produce?
There's no reason for a general if the person has no interest in doing business going into it.
Yeah.
Now, they haven't decided yet because they haven't met you yet, but they've read enough or they've talked to your agent and your agent has talked you up enough and they've had coverage done on your script or something where they know at least you're a competent writer, that they're going into it going, this could be a person I could work with. And, also, I could make money off of.
I'm a producer. My job is to produce films.
And in order to do that, I need writers.
Yeah.
Right? I can't go to studios and sell movies if I don't have scripts.
As much as they'd like to do it without us.
Yes, it cannot be done. So the second, once you transition from, we're getting along well, there's a good vibe, oh, this is fun, oh, what are you working on? Oh, cool, it sounds like you've got some good projects going on. Well, here's what our company does. This is what we're kind of looking for. So
they'll give you the spiel about what, and they'll often jokingly call it that because they do this probably 2 or 3 times a day.
Here's what we do here.
Here's what we do. Here's what we're looking for right now. We were founded by so and so. Then he left the studio and formed his own company. And
and right now we're really looking for the next $10 million horror movie,
right?
Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully you've done your research.
Yes.
And because if you haven't met this person before, and like I said, there are two. There is as Jake was saying, the reconnect general, but I'm really talking about the general. If you have a general with a producer, you should really look them up first. And if you, for some reason, can't find any information, ask the person who set the meeting for you. Go, hey, what is this company? What did they do recently? What kind of movies do they tend to buy or tend to make?
But again, generally, you can probably find but occasionally there's been a moment we've been like, who is this? Who is this company?
Yeah.
And we have had to. And they go,
and we've asked. And we've asked. And I think that, look, I think that when you're starting out, or even still to this day, I have an IMDb Pro account. It's very useful to look up people that you're going to be meeting with in the town. And it's not always 100% accurate, but it's pretty much...
I'd say it's 95 to 98% accurate, and you can see what things they've produced recently.
Right.
Again, if you, I don't think we've done this in a little while, but if there was a movie of theirs that came out within the last 6 months, maybe go and watch it if you haven't seen it already.
Be able to genuinely say, "Oh my god, I really like that. There was this scene in it that blank." I mean, don't
if you didn't like it, don't say anything.
People see through bullshit.
Yeah.
People really can see through. Oh, you're just trying to whatever, trying to kiss my ass a little bit. That's not what generals are about. But they do genuinely want to know what ideas you have.
Yes.
If you've written scripts, great. Maybe you have a spec that would be right for them. Fantastic. If you have a full-length pitch, I would not jump into a full-length pitch, but
but here's the point, and we talked about these in an episode the other day. Here's the point where you do your elevator pitch. Yes. You do your very brief, and again, I don't even think it's a log line. I think it's just like, here's the idea for the movie,
and you can get a sense how much further you can go based on their reaction. So let's say I go, hey, I'll use our movie for an example that we're writing on this podcast. So we're doing a movie that's like Midnight Run with a demon. Oh,
can't do demons at the moment. We've got 3 demon projects.
Do demons. All good, no worries. I've got another thing for you. And you move on, right?
Really?
Or I go, hey, we're doing this movie that's like Midnight Run. It's with a demon and a demon hunter who have to save the Antichrist.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Cool, yeah. So what happens is, and
yes,
really, to go further.
I think I make a good executive.
You make a good producer, Jake.
Thanks.
So basically, you need to be ready to have that quick pitch and then be able to talk about it more. Now, sometimes you don't have anything more.
Yeah, and also I think it's okay to be honest about that.
Yeah,
you know, I think you can say, "Hey, I've got this idea. It's the Terminator, but with demons. Want to do a chase movie? Want to have some demons in there? That's all I've got at the moment, but I know that there's something there." And they might go, "Yeah, cool," and then you can start having a conversation about it.
Yes, and sometimes that can lead to something really great.
Yep.
And sometimes it'll be like, "Cool, I think there's something there. Let me know when you have more."
Yes, totally.
You know,
and I think it's good to go into these meetings with at least 3.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't do more than I wouldn't have more than 5.
No, you start overwhelming people. And here's the other thing: if you are fishing essentially, and you hook that first fish, focus on that fish.
And that's absolutely happened to us. But we've gone in, we've presented one idea. We didn't even get to talking about the rest because they're already on that. And they're like, yes.
Yeah, because you don't need to split their focus. Now, maybe you have 2 things that are really different. One's a spec and one's just an idea, and you can pitch out both. Or maybe you have enough of a relationship with the person where you feel like you could pitch out a couple. But if they react and respond and like, the first
just
one or the second one, like, don't go any further. Just stop. You won. You've won the, you won the day.
Yeah. And then also what can happen in general meetings sometimes is there's the gift part whereby a producer will be like, "You know what we've got this thing. We've got the rights to Rubik's Cube.
Yep.
Is that interesting?" And you might go, "Oh yeah, it's funny. I used to love Rubik's Cubes as a kid. My son's got one at the moment. He's obsessed with it. Yeah, what would that be?" "Well, we're thinking it would be Taken with a Rubik's Cube." "Interesting." Yeah, anyway, and then you start having a conversation about the Rubik's Cube movie, which is Taken.
And obviously
write that down.
You can't plan for those.
Yes,
you can, be open, listen, don't shut down their presentations to you and go, "Oh God, that's stupid." Or don't have any really try and control your face. Because you should at least seem like, they're presenting it to you because they believe in it. Remember that, right?
Yes,
They wouldn't be coming to you with an idea if they didn't think it was good. We were presented the Guinness Book of World Records movie. We genuinely were like, "What the fuck is that?" But of course we were like, "Oh, there's something cool there." Maybe. We'll go away and think about it. I think they're actually doing it now. I think I saw something in the trades.
Oh, really?
Somebody else.
It was at one point. I feel like it was a couple of years ago now.
Not the person that originally pitched it to us.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
But you have to be respectful that these people are actually and honestly, it's quite it's flattering that they think that you might be right for this idea. You don't have to like it. You can leave the meeting and go, "Cool, I will definitely be thinking on that," and then never respond. Yeah. And that's okay. It's called the soft pass. And they do it and we do it.
Absolutely. People soft pass all the time. It's saying no without saying no.
Exactly.
I want to go back just to the kind of opening part of these meetings as well. And, there are, again, we've gotten good at general meetings now. You and I both come from acting backgrounds. We both used to go to auditions. And there is it sits in an adjacent space to that. Except you don't have an audition to hide behind. You've just got yourself with this. But I think there are things you can do that are ways into opening up a room. Now, there are lots of great books out there about building rapport with people. And essentially that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to build rapport, Right. One of the things I've read in this book years ago about auditioning when I was still an actor, which was always about, as soon as you walk into the room, state a shared truth. Now that shared truth, I know Bren's laughing because I've talked about this a lot, but I've experienced really interesting things with it before. That might be, I remember one time I walked into an audition with a casting director and she had Pez dispensers everywhere. And I said, "Oh, wow, you've got a collection of Pez dispensers." And she was like, "Oh, sit down. Let's talk about my Pez dispensers." We talked about her collection of Pez dispensers, which then became a conversation about modern culture for 10 minutes, which was just getting to know someone.
Well, and also, the more you can relate to someone on a personal level, the more they'll remember that meeting. I think the problem with general meetings today, and the fact that they're over Zoom, is that they really just kind of blur into each other. I mean, it even does for us. We went through a period after selling the Princess whereby we had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 general meetings in a row. It wasn't a ton. But you started to go, who did we talk to?
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
And Zoom can do that. Whereas, back pre-pandemic, we would have to drive to that person's office. A lot of times they'd be on a studio lot, which is super fun. And you remember, we went to Warner Brothers that day. We met with so-and-so. And then they would know us and they'd see our clothes or just like our
well, you could make comments about someone's office. Yeah. But again, it's interesting, like, we're working with someone whose books are organized behind him by color. He's done the home edit thing. And we mentioned that in a meeting. Wow, I love your collection of books. That was must have taken it. Okay, but the other thing, so you can still do it if the environment presents itself. Yeah. The other thing you can do, and actually I think Daniel Conker, our friend Daniel Conker online, is a fantastic screenwriter who's got a movie in production at the moment. It's very exciting, or just wrapped, actually. He always talks about, like, tell a story from your life that's happening now. Hey, Jake, how you doing? I'm really good. I've just started taking cold showers in the morning. It makes me feel really awake. Whoa, you're doing what? Yeah, I just, all of a sudden you're having a conversation about just something that isn't about the industry or the stock questions and answers that you just do, that just feel like boilerplate. So how did you guys meet? Here's what I do. Like, how can you make a meeting engaging and fun? What can you do to do that?
And hopefully by the end of the meeting, the producer that you're meeting with will have liked one of your ideas. Maybe they won't. And that's okay too. They can always, hopefully they're not terrible ideas, and they can be like, you know what, none of these work for me, but this was so great. And if you have anything else that you think is right for us, let me know. And at least you've established like an open door policy with them. Hopefully that you come out of that meeting with them going, God, I love this. Can we talk more about this idea? Or if you have a script, will you send me the script? Or if you have a full pitch, would you be open to doing a full pitch for me? Make sure that you then contact the agent who set that meeting for you, or the manager who set that meeting for you, and let them know how it went. And hopefully your reps are good at their jobs, and they will then follow up with that person to get the off the record side of how that went. And if the two match up correctly, then that could be the beginning of a really great relationship. Also, exchange emails. With that person. Just say, I'd love to, they might offer, they might say, let me grab your information. Right. Or you might say, I'd love to stay in touch with you. I'd love to stay in touch with you. What's the best way to do that? Yeah. Not, please, may I have your email? I'd love to stay in touch. What's the best way to do that? They might say, have your agent contact my people. Fine. They didn't want to give your email. They might say, I'll just give you my email. Here's my card if it was in person. At the moment, it's drop it into the chat in right. What you find out who's making a comment? Who's making a comment? It's just Gavin says, "Good evening, guys. UK
Hello.
time."
How you doing? What time is it? Almost 9 o'clock in the evening. Hey, Gavin. Yeah. But so I think, and one of the bits of advice a friend of mine gave me, whose father was very, very, very wealthy. And the only piece of advice his father ever gave him was call everyone in your Rolodex every 6 months. What's a Rolodex? But yeah. And it's not to say that you necessarily have to, but ultimately the point behind it is maintain relationships with people.
Jake, we used to be, I think, even better about this.
We did.
And it's something that, even just talking about it now, I go, we're at October 26th. It's something to be thinking about because while, it seems kind of silly almost to send out Christmas cards, it actually is not a bad thing. And the reason is because even if one of those people goes, oh yeah, I had a best meeting with them. I wonder what I need to contact them again, and we should have lunch or we should have coffee. One fucking person can turn into a job.
And
so
that, I mean, I remember that time we sent a Christmas card out. I think it was actually a card, wasn't it? We sent an actual physical Christmas card out, and the person got it, was like, that's great. Let's set lunch. We set lunch for January, and that turned into a job that paid us tens of thousands of dollars because we sent we sent a Christmas card. In fact, actually, our logo or our banner is one of our Christmas card pictures. It's us on
generals, these generals are a place to start building that Rolodex, right? Yeah. And we just keep a regular spreadsheet, and we used to be religious about it, and we would every single general we would put down who we met with, the date, what we talked about, if they were interested in. We had like literally different things in our numbers. We've become terrible about it, which is not.
I think we can get better at that.
But we literally would, so that we could then go back in 6 months' time, even if it wasn't Christmas time, and go, is there anyone that we didn't follow up with because they were interested in this idea? And we never followed up with them about that because time flies.
And then other meetings come in, and all of a sudden you're like, I mean, I think, yes. Yes, I think we need to get better at doing that. And B, to our viewers and listeners, do that. Maintain a spreadsheet, and you can look at it every 3 months. And go, oh, yes, we met with them. What happened about that? Let me email my manager. Oh,
and the Christmas card thing, look, it can be expensive. It can be annoying. One year we sent out a postcard one, which was a little bit easier. One year we sent out an actual card with an envelope. Our thing is to usually do something kind of funny and clever. But you can, whatever your personality is and your style, just do it to remind people of that. Don't be asking for things.
Or the year before. We did. What I'm trying to remember if it was last year or the year before. We sent out a picture of 4 versions of us on Zoom.
Yeah, it was a Zoom. Yeah, it was a goof. We took like fake pictures of us in a Zoom room, and they were all like goofy pictures. Nowadays too, honestly, like I think a digital card is fine as well. Yeah. The only thing about the digital card that you do have to remember is it won't be something they see more than once. Whereas the physical card would be something that if it was really funny, I remember somebody saying that they had our card on their desk for like a month.
Totally.
Because it was just like a really funny card.
No, it was the Santa Claus one.
It was the Santa Claus one.
And in fact, actually, our manager had it on his desk for ages.
So I think it's more challenging in 2022 to do the physical card thing, and it's gotten really expensive. But the digital card thing is not hard to do. It's really easy to do. And at least it will put you back in somebody's mind.
And also, if it was using something like a paperless post, there's certain things you can do about you can track who opened it. So you'll know who's seen it. Be like, oh, I know that this person at this studio opened our email. Cool. And also, it's very easy for them to respond quickly. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great holiday season too. And then you've established some communication again. Let's touch base in the new year. Great.
So that's generals. Generals are good. Generals are great. We've gotten lots of work out of generals. So
we have.
So do generals.
Do them. Do them.
And now we are we ever going to get out of Act 1, Jay?
I don't want to. I feel comfortable here. It feels like a safe, warm space.
I think it's time for us to try and get out of
Act 1.
I don't know.
Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Jake Fountain. Ben is at Ben_Lustig. If you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, go over to our Facebook page. Oh, cross-germinating. Cross-germinating? Fine, that'll do. I'm satisfied with the way this is going. But yes, I like you. I'm like, oh, we're still in Act 1. But as we've said, it is still cracking various elements of the story. And there will come a point when it will feel easy. Now, what the thing that happens, I feel sometimes for our outlines in Act 2 is that they get a little vague. We do super detailed act 1s, and then act 2. Sometimes we suffer into the trap of not the trap, but the bad habit of going, oh, well, maybe there'll be a set piece there, and then it's not really enough. But I don't think we're gonna do that with this song because we're doing it live for the world to see.
That's right. No, we're gonna be more detailed and put everyone through the misery of watching us do it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The moment we were at yesterday, that we're going to do and focus on this next moment, which is where our Charlize Theron character, we've still got to come up with a name, is going to go and have the experience of running in with a demon. Can you read the note? Because we can't see it on the screen.
Yes. The note just basically says that the demons are going to look something like Darth Maul, that they can be seen by us and by each other in mirrors,
right?
But not by anyone else.
Yep.
Unless they we haven't decided, like, if they could choose to, or if they get injured.
Yeah.
If they're like, if they're kind of like using some sort of energy to create a human presence.
Yeah.
And then we also said that we were going to introduce this idea of demonic energy sensing. That
a spidey sense
other demonic energy. Hence why this incredible amount of demonic energy that just was released by the sad relapse of Sam was felt by Charlize, but also, more importantly, that she's about to run into another demon in the grocery store.
Now, my question is for this year, I like everything we've talked about with this scene thus far. This scene gets Charlize on the road. Is that the purpose of this scene?
This is the scene where Charlize and we understand what's going on here.
Okay.
This scene, up until this point in the movie, and we're probably about 15 minutes in or so, we don't actually know that they're demons. We don't actually know that this has anything to do with the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the purpose or what we just saw with Sam was, or what Hank really was. We don't know anything about what that fight was earlier, and the fact that Charlize ran, and what those repercussions or what that means.
Yeah.
So the scene now whereby she runs into one of her own kind is going to hopefully, and it doesn't have to tell us all of that because we'll have other opportunities for exposition, but this should inform not only Charlize but us through Charlize that demons are being much more aggressive in coming over to our side because the level of demonic energy in the world has increased because the Antichrist is almost upon us.
Yeah.
And by establishing all those three things, we now know what our movie is about.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Then we also can learn through that Charlize is an outcast that Zod has been looking for and will hunt her down. And once the demons take over the earth, she's fucked. That's another thing that we could learn from this scene.
Yeah, sure.
And then we can also see her kill this demon, which will establish how that is potentially possible, so that we establish that they aren't completely
immortal,
invulnerable, right? And then on top of that, what the scene ultimately does is, as you said, it puts Charlize on the road. It gives her a new purpose. I need to stop this. So this is actually quite an important
scene. Yes,
it's a really big plot and character scene, and that's great because it means the scene is a scene that is needed in this movie. There's something that I'll never forget that the great late Wolfgang Peterson told us as we were developing Ghost Brigades with him. He said, if a scene doesn't give you something new about either plot or character, cut it.
Yeah. Should always be forwarding one
or the other, or both,
and preferably both.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so
that's where we are.
Charlize, interior Charlize's home bathroom morning. What do you think about the name Talia? I know it was a name we had for a character in a movie of ours a long time ago. Thala. Feels like it could be demony, has a quality to it. Do you know? Just popped into my head.
Yeah, I mean, the H being silent
Yeah.
I think it would just read easier as just Talia.
Fine. Yeah.
I like Talia. It doesn't necessarily scream demonic.
Sure. Yeah. No, just popped into my head.
It'd be nice, like, and this is not the right version of this, but in Lucifer, the main demon is called Mazikeen, but they call her Maze. And so there's like a very demonic thing, but then her nickname feels very kind of cool, modern human.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I always really liked that they did that on that show. I think it was really clever to give her both, basically.
Yes, a shortened version.
Yeah. So I'm not opposed to Talia, but I think it'd be cool if we could find a way
Find an actual like Zagasiagamiska. They just call her. Yeah.
Sure. Or, you know, Mazikeen and Maze. Either way.
Yeah. Okay, so Charlie's the next morning.
She wakes up on
the floor of her bathroom.
Now, I do think this needs a little connective tissue before she goes to the store. However, this also kind of so she passed out. Demons don't probably pass out easily unless they're, I mean, like, what is the...
Yeah, I mean,
like,
she doesn't know why she passed out. She doesn't know what happened. All of a sudden, she was in the shower. The next minute, it was all going grey and then black. And then she wakes up the next morning.
But they can get hurt physically, right?
Totally.
Like, we saw her fight with Zod and get the shit kicked out of her.
Yes.
And we are going to want them. They're in essentially mortal flesh that, flesh can be hurt.
Yes.
So is it
I think she's smart. I pitched out yesterday, you know, she wakes up and she's hit her head on the sink on the way down. She's got a gash
on her forehead.
She's got a gash on her foot. It's like,
and that's what brings her to the store.
Yes. You know, she goes to go and check the first aid thing. There's nothing in there. Fuck. You know.
Yes, she's bleeding from her head. Now, this means she has, she's bleeding. That's fine. So we're basically saying is
she can get hurt.
She's human-esque. Demons are human-esque, humanoid, whatever. Yeah. She's bleeding from her head. She checks the medicine cabinet.
She's all out of peroxide and bandages.
You know, she grabs a towel.
Yeah.
To stop the bleeding. And then we would just cut to her in either, I think it's probably a drugstore, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yes. Interior drugstore day.
Okay. And so in the drugstore,
she's shopping for first aid stuff,
buying bandages, when her demon sensing.
Spidey sense. Yeah. Now, what's this going to feel like? Is it going to be an audio cue followed by a reaction?
Like Highlander,
something internal?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they did it in Highlander, right? It was audio, and then it was... What was that? You know?
So is that so? Yeah. So what's the way that it isn't?
I mean, do they? I mean, I don't know if it's smell, but there's something interesting about going. Like, do demons smell like sulfur?
Oh, that's okay. Okay. So she's at the checkout, and she's paying for the stuff, and she goes, and she asks the checkout girl, "Do you smell that?" And she's like, "I don't smell anything." And all of a sudden, it's like she looks down.
She looks around.
Man, you're down the aisle, something like that.
Ooh, now, okay. So I like that. She goes to the checkout girl, whatever. I like she smells the sulfur. You know how in drugstores you have those mirrors that then show you the aisles. So she looks up in the mirror, and in the mirror, because we can see demons in reflection, she can see that there's a demon in the aisle.
Cool. Great.
What is this demon doing in here? Just making mischief, basically.
I mean, it's a good question, isn't it? What are they doing?
I mean, are they planning on? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, are they gonna steal the narcotics? Are they going to?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I guess the thing is, isn't it, that they are here to
fuck shit up.
Cause. I mean, isn't the chips are just opening up packets of cheese puffs?
I mean, like, is it like
all the things?
Slimer and Ghostbusters is basically just in the aisle, like fucking just, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
doing shit.
He's just going through trying the deodorant. Is there someone at your front door, Ben?
There is, but I literally have this thing muted.
I saw you turn it off earlier. See, this is where the machines start to take control.
What the hell?
I'm scared, Ben. Ben, don't turn me off, Ben. Alexa, off. I'm afraid I can't do that, Ben.
I'm afraid I can't do that. So buying bandages, she goes to the cashier.
Yeah. She starts to check out
and,
when
smells sulfur. She asks the cashier.
And again, she would say, "Do you smell that? What? Sulfur.
Sulfur.
Yeah.
Like sulfur, like something that, you know.
Unless we do a scratch and sniff script."
She asks the cashier if she smells the same, but the girl doesn't. And it could be really strong, which is why she knows.
Oh, totally, absolutely,
the girl doesn't, and yet it's really strong.
Yeah.
Charlize looks up to the security mirror.
Yeah.
In the corner, and sure enough,
one of the aisles.
One of the aisles is a demon. And this should be like a lowly rank and file.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Who is just fucking. And they're hedonistic.
Yes.
So,
totally.
you know, is he like sniffing glue?
Yeah, he's just in there, just being like a fucking punk.
Demon,
you know,
making mischief. We can come up with something fun when we write the scene. Demon, you know, making mischief. Then maybe there's another.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we going to, as they converse, and we as Charlize see this demon as a demon, are we going to be seeing her as a demon as well? Or is she still going to look like Charlize? I'm fine if she just looks like Charlize for the purpose of this scene, but I'm just questioning it for a second.
It's a good question. I'm trying to decide if this is the moment, but it probably should be. I mean, like, is there? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, there's other customers here, and so part of the mischief making is that he's like fucking with like a couple that is
totally.
You know,
they keep putting things into their cart. He's taking them out.
You know, he's whatever pulling up the girl's skirt or some shit like that, right? Like being like a real like like this guy's actually should be quite humorous. Yes. You know, like this is a fun kind of moment. You know, Charlize grabs him. He knows exactly who she is. Now, why hasn't he smelled her? This might be one of those emotion over logic moments.
I think because he's newly emerged from hell.
Sure, whatever. She grabs him and pulls him into the bathroom.
Okay.
And in the bathroom, there's mirrors.
Yes.
And in the mirrors, they look like demons.
Right.
And not in the mirrors, they look like the actors.
Fine. Yeah. Cool. Fine.
And that's where we can really clearly establish how we can see and they can see.
Great. Awesome. Okay. So down the aisles is a demon making mischief.
Fucking with
she goes up to him, says...
I think she just grabs him by like the back of the neck, and she's way stronger than he is.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Yeah.
Billy sneaks up. He just smells her just at the last second as she grabs him by the neck.
Yeah.
Sneaks up on him. He senses her just at the last second.
Yeah.
Before she grabs him.
And pulls him into the bathroom.
By the neck and pulls.
Yeah. And, you know, he has a line about, you know, look, I'm flattered, but I'm just not into girls or something like that, you know. And she's, yeah, like something badinage, like he's.
Well, he knows that she's a demon,
Yeah,
but,
sure,
but he doesn't know. I don't think he knows who she is. But then he can figure it out based on her behavior.
Holy shit.
Oh, you're
Mezakine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drugstore bathroom. Day. Charlize throws him. She could throw him up in the air against the mirror. The mirror's cracked, but what we see in them is her demonic form.
That's cool.
Up against the mirror with such force.
Yeah. Yes. Force.
It breaks. But in the reflection.
Yeah. We see exactly. We see a shattered image of what she and he look like.
Shattered glass.
Great.
Is her demonic image.
Yeah.
As well as the other demon.
Great.
And now this is the interrogation scene. Interrogation commences. And let's just bullet point what we want.
Great. Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Interrogation.
She finds out.
So we need to know why. So why is this demon in this town?
Mm-hmm.
Answer. More demons are coming.
Yeah.
By the day.
Yeah.
The energy.
Yeah. Yes, it's disrupting. It's disrupting the.
Why? Answer.
He's almost come. You know. Yes. Yeah.
Is almost. Pause.
Yeah.
Charlize should recognize. Charlize should pause for a moment because she thinks maybe that's what she felt last night.
Yes. Yeah.
Then Demon suspects who she really is.
Yeah.
And he says that Zod is still looking for her.
Yeah.
And when the portal is open,
yeah, it'll all be over soon.
Take over the world.
Yeah, totally.
Take over.
Yeah, she won't stand a chance. Yes, she's fucked. Great. Cool.
She kills him. How?
Through kindness.
She kills him with kindness. That's how you kill a demon, with kindness. Let's think of some way that is specific but not cliche.
She drowns him in a toilet stall.
Drowns him in a toilet stall. Why would drowning work to kill a demon?
I don't know. It just got into my head as being a cool visual.
I mean, sure, but I don't. Because here's the thing. I feel like with demons, there's I destroy your human flesh, but you go back to
does she, no matter where she goes, always have a blade on her that has similar engravings to the blade that Hank has? And if we're an observant audience member, we'll go, that's interesting. She has a similar looking blade to Hank. Who is Hank? Who is she? What is going on? Let me keep watching this awesome movie.
Could be, or if it's not the gravings, it could be the metal, the type of metal.
Yep, could be.
Could be silver, classic kind of anti-monster.
Yeah, I don't know what. I couldn't tell you how silver looks different from polished steel, for example. I guess it has a slightly different quality to it, but yeah.
I mean,
point being, she kills.
Keep the blade all the way down into the hilt, and it would look like a full piece of silver.
Sure.
But I don't know that I love it, because I feel like we're gonna have Blade, the movie, coming back out. Silver is a thing in that.
I don't need it to be silver.
Yeah. I just don't know that the runes. while I like them, I'm just going, is that the only way to kill like how do you how is Charlize mortal? Is it just that if someone were to stab her with something with these runic symbols, that would kill her? That's it?
Yeah. Magic sword, magic blade, blessed blade.
Okay. I don't think it's the best we can do.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that it doesn't work. It just feels kind of like, oh, that's the way, huh? That's just how you do it. I like that it's part of it, and that there's potentially like, and this is going the religious side, but if it were, you can be killed by anything blessed in a certain way, and that runes happen to be the blessing, but then you could use that blessing on something else
on a brick.
It had some sort of other power. It had to do with the power of God or the power of whatever. I don't really know what those runic symbols are at the moment, so I'm not really sure what that means. And is it that their soul is being destroyed as well? They don't have a soul. I think so. They don't have a soul, is what we've talked about. There is
their soul, demonic essence.
Right. So they're like essentially dispersing their demonic energy.
I mean, it would be kind of quite fun if, she goes in there and she kills this guy and he fucking turns into fucking black smoke and disappears, just leaving his fucking clothes on the floor. Or maybe not. Maybe there's no fucking clothes. I mean, he hasn't possessed someone, has he? He's just come here in human form,
Yeah.
And, comes out of the bathroom and he's not with
the energy, or like leaves him in ash.
Or leaves him in ash. That works too. Yeah.
Blade also, I guess.
Does also feel like Blade. I'd go black. I'd go black smoke. They die and then something like that.
Sure.
Okay.
She has maybe. All right. She has a hidden dagger.
Yeah.
Which also bears runic symbols.
Yeah.
Of Hank's.
Yeah.
Axe.
Yeah.
And then when she stabs the demon. I mean, what's cool about this is it does set up that Hank's axe can kill her.
Totally.
When she stabs the demon, he bursts into black smoke. Right.
Okay, now, how and why is she going to go to Portland? What bit of clue does she get?
Well, she saw the thing happen.
Yes, but doesn't necessarily mean that that's it. I mean, Sam could live in San Diego.
True. Although...
Unless it's just an emotion over logic thing. She goes, that must be it. I've got to go to Portland. She hasn't got anyone to really talk to about this. So this is the issue. It's not like she can say, "Hey, I'm going to Portland, kitty cat." Why?
Yeah, no. I mean, look, the other thing is she felt that energy.
She did, but she didn't feel it at the time that the bridge collapsed. It was hours.
No, I mean from Sam.
Oh, right. But could she then sense where that came from?
Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know how.
But that's obviously not the first thing she does. She goes to Walgreens to buy some gauze.
Right. Well, I mean, she's bleeding from her head. She can't just get in the car. But you're right. Like that, it feels a little too easy for her.
It feels a little too easy. There's just a logic gap between, unless she tortures this guy and tells him to find out where it is.
Maybe.
And he knows it.
Or curiously, all right. Is there something happening in Portland because of the extreme levels of demonic energy where
it's gay pride?
What?
Gay pride?
I don't even know what that means. But the idea would be that there's like, I'm thinking in Ghostbusters, the way New York, when the
something happens,
all of a sudden there's ghosts everywhere.
Yeah,
like if on the news, like violence in Portland has broken out.
That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting.
And it's really because there's so many more demons there, and so she knows that it's there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's good. That's good.
So she goes
because, as we know, violence never breaks out in Portland.
What?
Violence never breaks out in Portland normally. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think that's right. I think we do something like that. She puts the pieces together.
She's driving home, and on the radio, there's a news alert that since the bridge disaster.
Yeah, amazingly there's been an outpouring, and
Portland has become a site of chaos in the streets. Interior of Charlize's car. As she drives home, the radio announcer breaks in to say that violence has erupted in Portland.
Yeah.
Now we know. Charlie now knows.
I don't even need to see her get in the car.
What?
I don't even need to see her get in a car or do anything.
Unless there's something cool that we want her to bring with her.
Like what?
Don't know. What is her plan?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I think her plan.
She has this one little dagger, and she's just going to go and kill the girl. That's her plan. We say that she's going to have previously we talked about her having a sniper rifle or something.
Yeah. But again, do I need to see her going and getting the sniper rifle? I'm not sure that I do.
Okay.
Can we just go the next time we see her, she's on the roof with the sniper rifle? And I go, oh, okay. She's
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
We could. I feel like once we get to Portland, we are going to need to have a way for her to figure out exactly who Sam is.
Yes. Yeah. She would need to figure that out, and that's a thing we're going to figure out at some point in the future.
We are going to figure it out.
It feels like a good place to stop, and over just a couple of minutes.
It does. No, I think this is the right moment.
Good stuff.
Really, really good work today. Oh, we have actually a question. You have a question. Ask it, please. What is the question?
I want to know. This is someone watching on Twitch.
No, not Twitch. Twitter.
It looks like Twitch.
Oh, maybe it's Twitch. Like Twitch. Are we streaming to Twitch today? I thought I was streaming to Twitter. Anyway, you're right. We're live on Twitch. Hey, Vengeance. Vengeance. Are you still with us?
Vengeance CNS.
Yes, I would love to.
If you are still with us, we would absolutely love to answer your question.
But if you can't hear us now and you don't have your question ready, that's okay. Leave your question in the comments on this video.
Yeah.
And come to our YouTube channel and join us on YouTube as well. Because I didn't even realize we were still streaming to Twitch. So there you go. I'm glad that you joined us, though.
Gavin said holy water about killing demons. It feels
vampire-y.
It feels too vampire. I think we just need to be careful about that.
Yeah.
But thanks for the suggestion, Gavin. Cool. All right. Well, let's wrap this puppy up.
All right.
Thanks
if you
so much.
Have any questions about our episode, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and then leave us a comment.
All right. Will do.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Next time. Bye.